What's up, everybody? Lighting designers and architects who are trying to light outdoor spaces with really considered accent lighting that can pin spot different areas are often left with very few choices. That's why I'm really excited about Periskop from Linnea, which is part of Interlux here in New York and New Jersey. This is the Periskop 3.2, and we're going to do a really quick walkthrough about why this little guy is one of the most versatile outdoor fixtures you're going to find on the market. Okay, I know there's a ton of outdoor flood lighting and accent lighting and spot lighting and stuff on the market. I totally understand. However, what sets Periskop apart are the optics, okay? What I'm holding in my hand is the 3.2 inch. There's also a 1.8, a 4.4, and a 6.8 inch version of this. You're going to find that optically these all perform the same, except that you get higher lumen outputs as you go bigger. I'm holding the 3.2 because it has one of the coolest optics I've ever seen on the market, a 3-degree, what we're calling hyperspot. I'm going to fire that up for you right now. This is hyperspot. Now, hyperspot is a 3-degree true spot coming out of this little 3.2 inch exterior floodlight. So I am currently about 4 feet away from this apple. I'm going to back up, and you can start to see just how tight this beam really is. So standing at about 6 feet away now, I'm only creating a beam that's a little less than a foot wide. It's an incredibly tight beam spread on this little guy. Now, this is obviously a very specific application, lower lumen output, but really focused center beam candle power. To give you an even better sense for these optics, I've set this light up now. We're about 45, 50 feet away from that target wall over there, and you can see how narrow a beam we're generating. We're generating a beam about 5 feet wide from that distance. This 3-degree is super tight with a really focused ring. This is a very specific application, but Periskop comes in a number of different optics. But you can imagine that you're either pin spotting something from double height outside, or maybe you just want to pin spot a table from a pergola or some other exterior application. It's a really easy, really tight, dedicated optic. Yeah. So I'm back on my little target apple over here, and I just wanted to show you, some of the more keen observers here are going to say, well, what about the field angle? So if I bring this closer, you can see there's a spot and then there's a field, right? As you back this off, that field is definitely there. It's definitely mixing in with the beam. You know, it's not a laser, but I think some of that field is okay, especially when you get into further mixing distances. And if you're trying to pin spot an exterior table with a focal point and then a little field, I don't think that's the worst performance ever. So I think that you're going to see that little mix of beam and field, but it's hard to get around that with a super tight form factor and glare for a second. As mentioned, this is the 3.2 inch, 1.8 inch, 4.4 inch, and 6.2 inch are all available. Really, optically, these are very close. The only difference has become lumen output. The bigger the engine, the more light you can get out of it. So built onto the yoke of this fixture, this is meant to mount to maybe a wooden beam or a metal piece, any kind of hardware that you're aiming at outside. This is going to be your degree indicator. Get that real tight for you. This will show you if you're trying to get past 0, 0, and then all the way out to that 60 degree or beyond. It's just meant to give you a way to regulate and tighten up these angles as you go out. It's a clean form factor. This is in white, obviously. Imagining this in black up at a pergola or any other kind of architectural feature outside. Really clean square form factor out of Periskop. The last thing I'm going to show you here is as I turn this, here's your glare form factor here, right? So in a 3-degree, this is pretty quiet. As I turn this, the camera is going to be more severe than your eye is going to be, but you can see where that bright spot is. Really quickly, let's talk about performance metrics. So we already talked about the fact that the hyperspot, that 3-degree that you've been looking at, the ultra spot, which is 6-degree, are dedicated optics. Dedicated LED, dedicated optic, dedicated wattages. Moving up, there's a 15-degree, 38-degree. There's also lateral distributions, like a 15 by 41, which could be turned 90 degrees. There's also a 33 by 43 optic, again, turnable 90 degrees. Optional honeycomb louvers and snoots for this product. The 3.2 is one of the most versatile. It has all kinds of different field options. When you get smaller, you do lose some of the tight spot optics because, again, it's so tiny. IP66 rated. Delivered lumens are going to range from 700 to 1,000. If you know about point sources in the outdoor application, delivered lumens is not as important as center beam candle power, so you're going to want to check the IES files or the published photometrics. It's a super powerful little light, very efficient. Remote driver options including 0 to 10, phase dimming. We could also DMX and dolly if required on the job. I really like this little guy, and I think you will too. If you want to see a sample, you know how to reach out to us here at SDA. We'd be happy to show you something. Can't wait to see you on the next one.